The next. Oh.
Oh, no, sorry.
Good evening. Good evening. I would like to call to order our regular open session meeting at 5:30 p.m. Madam Secretary, can I have a roll call, please?
Board President Hannah,
Present.
Board Vice President Taylor, absent. Board Secretary Griffin. Present. Board Member Buchanan,
Present.
Board Member Dawson,
Present.
Board Member Morris,
Present.
Board Member Williams Wolford, absent.
Thank you. Can we please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. At this time, I ask that you place all cell phones on vibrate as we pause for a moment of silence. Thank you. As we move along, spotlight on success.
Good evening, board members, community members, teachers and staff. Thank you so much for being here. So Spotlight on Success, we have Ms. Stewart with Kid Millionaire, focusing on financial literacy. So we have Ms. Stewart and Gabriel. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Ms. Stewart, one of the middle school ELA teachers. And I also teach our kids the Kill Millionaire program that focuses on personal finance, savings, budgeting, and entrepreneurship. Today, I have a presentation for you, a TED Talk by one of my great eighth graders, Gabriel Trejo, and he will be going over some things that we do in our program in class. Thank you for your time.
Hello, my name is Gabriel Trejo. Welcome to my TED Talk. Today I'm going to be explaining why middle schoolers should learn financial literacy. Raise your hand if you ever made a poor financial decision. I know I have. I remember I spent all my money at the store, but then a following week later, I had to buy myself a coat, but I didn't have any money. That was a poor financial decision made by me. How could I better myself? I could have saved, I could have invested, or I could have just not spent any money. So why financial literacy? You may wonder, why middle school students need a financial literacy class since most of us don't have a job or any steady source of income? Here's a quote by Alan Greenspan. The number one problem in today's generation and economy is the lack of financial literacy. So why financial literacy? Although most students our age don't have a job, we're some of the biggest spenders and consumers in the market to this day. Here's a graph of Gen Z's monthly expenses as of 2020. We spend mostly on clothing, shoes, eating out, and groceries. Notice how personal care is one of the lowest. We need to raise that. So why financial literacy? Last year, my peers and I were some of the big spenders. Did you know college graduates earn 10% less compared to their parents did 50 years ago? Gen Z may have the least amount of debt right now, but that is expected to rise over the following years. As you can see, in the past year, Gen Z's average debt increased by 39% more than any other generation. So why financial literacy? Financial literacy is not just about managing your income wisely. It's also about developing healthy money habits. So even though I might not have a steady source of income, I can still develop healthy money habits that can help me in the future. The sooner I start learning and practicing these good financial habits, the easier it will be to maintain these habits as an adult. In a study, Gen Z, 1 out of 5 people said debt should be avoided at all costs. We need to raise that to 5 out of 5. So why financial literacy? In a study, people who have learned or have higher levels of financial literacy have better spending habits and are more likely to save. Gen Z has the lowest financial literacy level in this graph. So we need to raise that so we can get higher. Some of the healthy money habits we are focused on in financial literacy class are saving money, but not just in a jar, but in a bank. So the savings can earn you interest and money back. Creating and following the budget. It is important to track exactly how much you're spending and what you're spending it on. Some do's and don'ts are, what if you want to buy new shoes, but you need to pay bills? You'd rather pay those bills than buy new shoes. Setting a smart goal. But what is a smart goal? A smart goal is specific, measurable, actionable, and realistic, and timely settings for your budget that you set for yourself. Here's a short-term SMART goal that we created in financial literacy plans. As you can see, he wanted to buy a new bike. So he set himself a short-term SMART goal. And every week, you would get $20 and $50 for every trimester report card. So that's a short-term SMART goal. Personal benefits of financial literacy. I remember when I wanted to buy an Xbox for $500, but Dad told me not to spend all that money in one place. He talked with me about the importance of saving or investing for future needs instead of spending on an unnecessary want. This is a life lesson I still carry with myself today. In conclusion, learning financial literacy can have long-term benefits. Developing healthy money habits allow middle school students to make wise financial decisions throughout their entire life. I'm going to leave you with this quote. Robert Kiyosaki, author of Rich Dad Poor Dad. It's not how much money you make, but how much money you keep, how hard it works for you, and how many generations you keep it for. Thank you for coming to my talk.
Well, before you leave, Ms. Stewart, first of all, great job of what you're doing with these students. Teaching them about saving money. That's one of my hard things too, because spending money on shoes, I got a problem. So,
My class will help you out.
okay, cool. Any other board members won't like to say anything to Gabriel or Ms. Stewart?
I would like to address both of them.
Mhm.
I can honestly say that during my whole time through school period, my home ec teacher made the biggest impression on my life because she taught her class how to budget and how to save. And that was one of the main things that helped me once I moved out of my parents' home. And that's something that stayed with me throughout my life. And I say that's a very valuable trait that you're teaching the children.
Thank you. We're trying to work on life skills, right?
Mhm.
Anyone else?
Gabriel, we going to Shark Tank. Me and you. I mean, I love that presentation. You look very confident, and when you know, and if you ever watch Shark Tank, you know that's how they present something. You know, I'm trying to sell it. You know, so that's a good job.
We're doing that in class, our Shark Tank presentations. That's coming up next in class, actually. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Ms. Stewart. Gabe, good job, man. I believe we have one more spotlight on success coaches.
All right. Hello, everybody. This is, my name is Coach Nichols. I am here to offer you guys this opportunities to meet our 2 championship teams this year. So first, I'd like to thank the administration. First, thank you guys, the board, for allowing us to come in today and recognize these young men. Also, thank you to the Dr. Jackson and administration team for giving us a spotlight to display these wonderful gentlemen. The banner has been taken down because we got to put the years up, and it's been a while since we had the 7th grade and 8th grade level get championships, and that's something to be proud of. So let's give it up for that. In a minute, I'm going to go over everybody's name and recognize them, but a few things I wanted to say. Every year, I like to have the boys, and they'll attest to this, that we sit down on the gym floor and we go over goals. Boys, how many goals do we have to share? 3 goals, right? So we got a personal goal, a team goal, and then another personal goal outside of like basketball, right? Because everybody will say, I want to score 25 points, right? Right. Take it easy, right? So what I do, and Coach Mouche, who is my assistant, 7th grade coach, my other assistant, Coach Steele, is here, and Coach Porti was in the system all throughout the season too. So I just want to recognize them. But what we did, we took those goals, I read them, and then we had individual conversations with them about, is this a goal you can attain? And maybe sometimes we got to adjust it. And then at the end of the season, we look at it again. Did you accomplish your goals? And it's not a failure if you didn't, right? We set something else where we make it measurable next year. My 8th graders, they take it to the high school level. But I did have, you guys remember when we sat down, we had we sat down, we shared our goals. And then I said, who wants to share their goals, right? And there was a couple that said, we want to win 2 championships, right? And I was like, man, I love that, we always strive to win championships. It's going to be hard, but I like that goal, and we did it, man. So, I mean, the kids were the ones that said, let's win these 2 championships, and we did it. So final big round. We'll get one more at the end, but good job. So I'm going to recognize every player, right? So some were able to come tonight. Actually, some did come to parent-teacher conference to collect their trophies. And they might not get the trophy tonight because some of them already came and got it. And then some didn't get the trophy at parent-teacher conference, and they'll get it today. So boys, I don't know exactly who got it, so don't take 2, all right? All right. So first, it was our 7th grade team. Kobe Alexander. Kobe with us. Let's give him a hand. Jaden Chamberlain. The coaches are going to do the shaking. I'm just going to do the announcement. Okay. Cameron Harris. Cam, come. Oh, we'll get that to him. Michael Keller. He came during parent-teacher conference. Josiah Miller. We know him as JoJo. Ellis McKay. Ellis got here, so he's just going to get a handshake. Keenan with O. Reed. Keenan, come on up, Keenan. Keenan, come get your handshake, Keenan. Come on. We got to make it. He already got his trophy, so he thinks he doesn't have to be recognized. There you go. Right? Thank you, Keenan. Jacoby Moore. Jacoby with us. Mason Phillips. He came at parent-teacher conference. Anthony Wellington. He came at parent-teacher conference. And Isaiah Marquez Miller. That was our 7th grade team. Our 8th grade team members, Jordan Alexander. This guy's here. Cordell Brown with the fresh cut. I was there, I saw it. Amari Flowers. He needs it. No, he needs this. Don't break it, Amari. Javon Cornegay. Jalen Hampton. Jonathan Mallard. Evan McKay. Evan came and got his. Christopher Robinson. See, Chris brought his. So yeah. Good job, Chris. Jaquez Scott. Amari Thomas, one of our co-captains. And he got taller since season. Like, why ain't you that tall during the season, right? Keontae Williams, our other co-captain. He needs one. Kazarick Williams and Lazarick Williams. And that concludes our presentation. Thank you, guys. Have a great evening. And 8th grade, take it to the high school. Tell us how you do. And our 7th grade team, we're looking for some more championships next year.
Can you all just stay for just one moment there? And can I ask the board members to go and have a photo with them? Thank you.
Bring them back up.
So the trophy I put down there on the floor is the traveling trophy. We get that and shared with the other schools. So we have another one that's coming, but we had that one from last year because the 7th grade team actually went back to back. And one last thing, I do want to thank our parents too. Like they were there, always supporting our staff. And thank you, parents. I didn't forget you.
Yes. Thank you so much.
All right, before we continue, boys, if you guys are staying, please stay, have a seat. If not, please exit the gym room so we can continue with the meeting. All right, I'm gonna move this right along so we can get out of here. Gentlemen in the hallway, can you guys go out in the hallway? Thank you. All right, moving along. Public comment. Are there any public comments? There are none. And we had one FOIA request. Dr. Jackson?
Yes, good evening again. We did have one FOIA request and that has been satisfied. They were asking about our retirees for this year. Thank you.
Thank you. Upcoming events and correspondence, Madam Secretary.
There is no correspondence, and we ask that everyone would read the events away from the board meeting. And thank you.
Thank you. Consent agenda. I read that motion. I make a motion that the board approve the regular open session meeting minutes for Tuesday, January 23rd, 2024. The regular closed session meeting minutes for Tuesday, January 23rd, 2024. Lindop District 92 accounts payable for January 15th, 2024 through February 19th of 2024 in the amount of $305,625.55. Lindop District 92 activity account reconciliation for January 2024. Lindop District 92 payroll for January 15th, 2024 through February 19th, 2024 in the amount of $499,265.11. And the second read and adoption of policy 7:270. Can I have a second, please?
Cheryl Griffin, I second.
Roll call, please.
President Hannah,
Yay.
Secretary Griffin,
Yay.
Board Member Buchanan.
Yay.
Board Member Dawson,
Yay.
Board Member Morris. Board Member Williams Wolford.
Yay.
Vice President Taylor is absent.
Motion carries. Old business, presentation of the state of the district. Ms. Apari Safaro, Dr. Roberson, Dr. Betts, and Ms. Kiefer.
Good afternoon, board members, community members, teachers, and staff. Thank you so much for being here. So today we're going to present the state of the district. So we just finished up MAP testing for the winter. We did it in the fall, which was 4 to 6 weeks of instruction, where we got our baseline. And so now you can see here in terms of K2 reading results. So if you look at the numbers, so if you look at kindergarten, 2 represents the total number of students. The 1 represents a student with an individualized educational plan and or a 504 plan. So if you can look here and see, the blue represents greater than 80th percentile. So what MAP does is that MAP always looks at the 50th percentile, but we here at Lindop have raised the bar and we're looking at 80th percentile or above. So if you look here, kindergarten went up in the 80th percentile. So previously in the fall, we were at 10%. And now we are currently at 38% in terms of kindergarten. Grade 1, we did go down slightly. We did have we were at the 80th percentile. We had 40% above the 80th percentile. Currently, we have 21. However, if you look at the number of students, so we had 3 students in the fall. One of them had an individualized educational plan or a 504. Now we have 5 students in the winter that have, we have 5 students in the winter that are above the 80th percentile. So you can see that in terms of the numbers. Okay. When we move to grade 2, again, grade 2 did regress a bit. So you see that we had 5 students that were above the 80th percentile. We currently have 1. So those 5 students you can see moved into the, between the 61st and the 80th percentile. And so there we have 9 students when we're looking at grade 2 for the winter. Moving right along to the grade 3-5 band. So you can see here, grade 3, we went up in terms of the 80th percentile, the number of students. We did go down slightly in grade 4. So we had 4 students and now we currently only have 1. However, we had, and you can see that they moved into the 61st to 80th percentile, and 61st to 80th percentile is grade level. Okay, so 80th or above is exceeding, okay, in terms of achievement. When we look at grade 5, as a class, they were at the 58th percentile, and as a class, they're now at the 67th percentile. And again, you can see that the number of students that are 80th percentile or above grew by 2. So we had 4 students, and there are now currently 6 students that are 80th percentile or higher. When we look at middle school, every grade in middle school went up in terms of having students at the 80th percentile or above. So all of middle school. Any questions regarding reading before I move into math? All right. So we look at math, look at kindergarten. Now we have a new curriculum. So we have a new curriculum, and sometimes with a new curriculum, we do see regression. However, in kindergarten, they went from, as a grade, they went from the 64th percentile to the 79th percentile as a grade. We did see a bit of regression in grade 1. It did go up in grade 2 in terms of the number of students that are at the 80th percentile or above. Grade 3 stayed the same. Grade 4 stayed the same. And so we're looking at the students in terms of how many students were at the 80th percentile or above. Grade 5 did go up. by one student. So there are now currently 2 students that are at the 80th percentile or above. When we look at grades 6, 7, and 8, again, they did it again where they moved students, more students to the 80th percentile or above. So this goes back to prescriptions. So what the teachers did now with the new data that they received is that they were looking at what they're teaching right now in terms of the standard and where the children are. So they look at every single student individually to see, does this student have the criteria in order to meet the standard? If they do, they move to the next band. So that's how they're working with differentiating instruction for each of the students in reading and math, as well as science. What science is doing is looking at the science assessment as well as reading non-fictional texts to find out where the students are and adding what they need to their prescriptions as well. All right, moving right along to chronic absenteeism. So remember, chronic absenteeism deals with whether you're excused absence or unexcused absence. So as a school, we are currently at 93%. And so that means that 9 out of 10 students are in attendance. So 9 out of 10 students are in attendance. So that's doing those parent phone calls each and every day, going to the parents' homes. So going to the students' homes when they're not here. So that's, it's a lot of work, but it's working. So congratulations to each of us that are working on absenteeism and making sure that our goal is to get to 99 or 100%. That is our goal. So when we look at truancy, we have 3.2 students that are currently percentage that are truant. Chronic absenteeism, we're currently at 19%, which is 59 students. When we look at McKinney-Vento, we have 3% that are McKinney-Vento, and then we have 29% that are here based on an affidavit. When we look in terms of males and females, so we notice that females are chronically absent more than males. So we have 61% are females, 39% are males. We broke it down by race and or ethnicity. So Black or African-American, we had 63%. Hispanic or Latino, we had 34%. 2 or more races, 1.7%, and white, 1.7%. When we look at students with individualized educational plan, 14% of them were chronically absent, and we had 0% that had 504 plans. When we look at low income, 80% of our students that are chronically absent are also low income. 17% of our students that are chronically absent are multilingual learners. And so here we broke it down by grade level. So 34% are pre-K. And so we all know that in kindergarten and pre-K is not mandated by the state of Illinois. However, we know that Ms. Schoenheider is working with those parents to make sure that their children are here every day because we value our youngest children all the way to the oldest children. So we want to make sure that they are in school each and every day, no matter what age they are. So you can see all of the grades in terms of chronically absent. And again, we're doing the same support. So calling parents. So I'm still calling my parent in the morning to wake her up to make sure that her child is here on time, doing the home visits, calling each and every parent every day once the child is marked N, meaning not in class. So secretaries are calling to find out what's going on, why they're not in school. So we're still doing that each and every day. All right, tracking tardies. So when it comes to tardies, you're looking here from August 17th to January 31st, we had 185 students, so that was up 37 from December 20th. Now, tardies to class, 0. So middle school students are not tardy to class, 0. So if you look at that, 0. So that's working with the students as well as working with the middle school teachers, making sure that the students are where they need to be in a timely manner. So kudos to the middle school team as well as the middle school students, making sure, and we're going to continue to see that 0, 0, 0, 0. No students tardy to class. We are working on the number of students tardy to school. All right, parent meetings. So I'm continually having my parent meetings. Right now, I'm almost finished grade 4 and I'm working on grade 3. The parent meetings are great because I get to have that one-on-one time with parents, especially new parents to the district. Get to find out what's happening at home, what's not happening at home, in terms of if homework's being brought home and what their child needs in the classroom. So the meetings are very, very good and very, very informational. And the parents are like, thank you. And I'm telling the parents, hold us accountable. Hold us accountable. I need you to ask, what are the prescriptions you have for my child? What are the goals that you have for my child? How am I going to close the achievement gap at home? What do I need to do as a parent to help my child? So those are the questions that I'm telling the parents to please hold us accountable, ask those questions of the teachers as well as ourselves to make sure that we're doing everything we can for all of our students. All right, moving on to discipline data. Dr. Robertson.
Good evening, board members, community members, faculty, and administrative staff. Thank you so much. I'm excited to share with you our data discipline from the months of August through January. We do not have any referrals for the month of August, so our data will start with September. And in September, we had 15 referrals. Those referrals were 1 in 2nd grade, 4 in 3rd grade, 1 in 4th grade, 3 in 5th grade, and 6 in 8th grade. During this month, we realized that some of the high-flying locations was the playground during recess time. In order to address that issue, we ensure now that we have extra support during recess time. Whenever we have a substitute teacher in the building, we make sure that we address their schedule so that they can offer additional support during that time frame. Mrs. O and myself also go to recess as well as lunchtime as much as we can. In October, we had 8 referrals, 1 in 1st grade, 1 in 5th grade, 2 in 6th grade, 1 in 7th grade, and 3 in 8th grade. During this month, we realized that a lot of our high-flying locations was the bathroom and the hallway. One of the things that we have implemented now is that students have to be escorted by a teacher, or if students have to leave the classroom, they need to call the location that they're going to in order to make sure there's someone there. Or if they're going to the bathroom, only 1 student per time. In November, it went down. We had 6 referrals, 2 in 1st grade, 1 in 5th grade, 1 in 6th grade, 1 in 7th grade, and 1 in 8th grade. During this month, their most high flyer was in the classroom. One thing that Ms. O and I are doing is ensuring that we are both in the classroom more frequently. We're also giving professional development to teachers who need more additional help with classroom management. Once they have that professional development, we also follow back up to ensure those strategies are implemented into the classroom. In December, we had 12 referrals, 5 in 5th grade, 1 in 6th grade, 1 in 7th grade, and 5 in 8th grade. Again, this month, classroom was our high-flying location. Again, we are making sure that we are in the classroom more frequently, making sure that we give teachers strategies in order to help them with their classroom management, as well as calling parents to get the parental support and everything else that we can do to ensure that we assist our teachers in every way that we can. January, our referrals went down to 10. We have 2 in 5th grade, 2 in 7th grade, and 6 in 8th grade. Classroom was still the same thing, one of our highest location in terms of referrals for this month. And again, we at Ms. O is intentional about making sure we support our teachers in this aspect. Are there any questions about discipline? Thank you so much.
Dr. Robertson, just before you leave, I know that you stated about the videos and those things, but there was, I think, a critical part of that that you did not mention, and that is that reflection piece. Will you talk a little bit more about that?
Yes, so the teachers who need support, Ms. O and I give a professional development, and sometimes on Frontline, which is a platform that we utilize in the school. They have professional development videos on there as well. After the teacher watches it, they do a reflection piece in which we come back to the teacher and we discuss what they watched, what they saw, and then what strategies we can do to support them in. And then afterwards, Ms. O and I go in and make sure that those strategies are implemented after that reflection piece. Thank you so much, Dr. Jackson. Thank you.
So this next part of our presentation, and I just want to say thank you to the Board of Education for supporting us. It was something when we stepped out, really, and you all made us safe to really give the data in a way that may not be pleasing, but what was absolutely going on in real time. And because of that, we began talking to the Blue Ribbon Schools of Excellence. We also have a consultant that is specifically for Lindop. And at that time, a lot of people thought that we could not do it, and why were we even wasting our times because we were just too far away. It's because of the team that is here, where they were able to put this ahead, Mrs. O very diligently, continuing that work, making sure that the school improvement plan is sharp and crisp. And it was actually detailing what we had. I think we were a little worn out by some activities that had happened last week and all just kind of down. And we were in our leadership team meeting. And so we were meeting with Mr. Vega, who is our person from Blue Ribbon Schools of Excellence. And we just left a snippet of this to be able to share with everyone so that you could also see that your hard work and your support for us is not in vain.
Guys have been involved in. We went through a sort of a period where not a lot was going on, and all of a sudden everything is going on. You've got committee meetings, you've got teachers engaged, you've got a variety of different activities going on, and it's just exciting to watch the enthusiasm that's coming through the emails that I'm getting. I haven't sat in on any of them. I don't know if my participation would be of any value at this point. There may be some point where you consider my participation something of added value, but I'll leave that up to you. But I have been tracking the invitations and the follow-up. And I've gone into the tool and begun making some changes reflecting some of the progress that I'm seeing evident in the follow along to the committees. I guess the reason for my asking to speak with you is there are some areas where I'm not quite sure what the progress has been, and it may be helpful for me to get a synopsis from some of you, maybe all of you, I don't know, that would give me some evidence of progress, what has been accomplished. I see in particular some of the climate and culture issues, which was one area in your review that needed attention. What are some of the improvements that you're seeing as a result of engaging your stakeholders in that discussion? There were some areas in professional development, some areas in parental engagement that I know that your efforts have addressed, but I can't gauge in every respect what those improvements have been. You're in a much better position than me to identify what those improvements are. Is it possible for me to get some summary of your progress that I can then translate into recognition?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Tell us what you need and what format you would like to receive that.
I would be very happy to just get a synopsis. I'm not looking for an in-depth assessment. I'm assuming that you have that for your own purposes,
Yes.
but just an illustration that would reflect the steps that have been accomplished under the new leadership and under the format of engaging your faculty and stakeholders in discussion. Photographs, samples of if you've had, and I know you've had a recent parent meeting or you have a parent invitation, what the outcome of that is. Maybe it's how many parents came. Just something that would give me a bit of insight into what your successes have been. it's impossible for me to look at the frequency of activity and not notice that I know that there's progress. I just can't pinpoint it in a way that would allow me to reflect it positively in the review results.
Okay. Absolutely. We can absolutely get this for you. And I think we can get it pretty timely. Team, what do you think about that? Okay. I don't want to put any undue pressure. Mrs. O?
Sorry,
She
I'm
can-
also the secretary right now.
No problem. No problem. Okay, so we have to make sure that we have some information for Mr. Vega. He was pretty clear at what he needed, really to just show the actualization of everything that you and your team have been able to implement. And even now, while we're going, they're still, working in different areas and
Sure.
doing double duty. But we absolutely can come up with that, and we can do this fairly quickly. I think that we should be able to even do this maybe even before the board meeting. But if not, absolutely the end of that week, and that is the third week in February.
Great.
Okay.
And then my commitment to you is that when you submit things, and if there are things in progress, don't feel like you have to submit everything at one time. Send me what you have as you have it, and I can make the adjustments and continue to correspond with you by updating the results in a way that would reflect your progress.
Okay.
The one thing I want to avoid is you waiting until the very end of everything that you've accomplished
Mhm.
and then sending that to me, and we've missed an opportunity to give you recognition along the way. There's nothing that I want like better than reinforcing the good work that schools are doing by acknowledging it from the perspective of an outside resource. I
Okay.
know that on your campus, you're seeing the results of your efforts. But I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's always reinforcing to have that progress recognized by an outside person who's looking at Lindop from a different perspective. I mean, I know the building, I know the interior, I know that there are new faces on your leadership team. I know that new people have stepped up, even though you've been on faculty, you've been invited to step up and take leadership roles with your colleagues and with other stakeholders. And that's really what I want to capture and recognize, not only for your benefit, but as an example to others as well.
Okay. Absolutely. I think we have what our mission is, and we will make sure that we have it completed for you. Thank you so much for taking the time. And I just want to publicly thank Mrs. O and Dr. R for continuing to push this, even in hard times. They've continued to push this to make it happen, not only in making sure that we are living up to the goals that we're set out with your organization, but also that it's living and breathing, and you can see the culture and climate changing.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I certainly can, and I'm 800 miles away from you, and I can feel the excitement. So the leadership team you put together, Superintendent, is remarkably effective and moving forward in a very positive direction. So I appreciate your leadership in that regard and the progress that's already underway.
Thank you so much. Okay, we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, thank you.
All
Have
right.
a great weekend.
All right. Thank you. You
Bye-bye.
as well. Bye.
And when he's talking about community and everything, 5 Essential Survey, we have 99% of the students have completed the 5 Essential Survey. 75% of the teachers have completed the 5 Essential Survey. And 59% of the parents have completed the 5 Essential Survey. So with parents, the 5 Essential Survey, when they complete it, they take a screenshot and they send it to a different link. And then their child is able to participate in a Sunday soiree. So we're now acknowledging the students, because previously we were doing a raffle for the parents, but we're acknowledging the students whose parents contribute to the 5 Essential Survey. So thank you.
All right, before you guys leave, great job. Great job for all the work that's done. Admin team, Dr. Betts, Miss O, Dr. R, Miss Kiefer, and Leslie, Dr. Jackson. Thank you for pushing them. Thank you guys for pushing the teachers and teachers that's here that can hear me. Thank you guys for pushing our babies so that we all can make it to Blue Ribbon. Okay.
Thank you.
Board members, anything you guys would like to say?
I would basically like to echo the same sentiment that you guys have done a wonderful job. For anyone that thought that there was no way that we could even try to reach that, you've proven everyone wrong. And we're proud of you for that.
Thank you.
Awesome job.
Next, Cheryl Griffin, I make a motion that the board approve the attendance at the California Association of Black School Educators, CASBE Conference, Saturday, July 31st, 2024, through Thursday, July 18th, 2024, in Napa, California, for the Board of Education and Superintendent. Can I get a second?
And I second it, but before we move forward, those dates are July 13th through July 13th, 2024 through Thursday, July 18th, 2024. Hannah, I did second it. Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Board Member Buchanan.
Yay.
Board Member Williams-Wolford. Yay. Board Member Morris.
Yay.
Board Member Dawson.
Yay.
Board Secretary Griffin.
Yay.
Board President Hannah.
Yay.
Vice President Taylor absent.
Motion carries. Update on the United Negro College Fund, UNCF Gala. Dr. Jackson, Ms. Brown, Ms. Tanksley.
Good evening, you all. I just want to say thank you to the Board of Education Administration for allowing us to go to this event. And once again, good evening to the Board of Administration, teachers, staff, and Lindop family. My name is Ms. Tanksley. I am one of the kindergarten teachers, and this is Mrs. Brown, one of the second grade teachers. And we would just once again like to say thank you for allowing us to attend the event with you all. Before we went to the gala, we were hesitant. We heard that it was simply just a dinner with guest speakers, and that was just a networking opportunity. However, once we got there, we saw that it was much more. We were able to learn, from fellow educators, be introduced to fellow educators. And it was an opportunity to fellowship with educators and see what opportunities that high schoolers have for us as they sang different songs as a choir, performed solos, and even gave monologues. And that showcased the fine arts that high schoolers have, which touched my heart because I grew up taking fine arts classes. And then also at the United Negro College Fund Gala, Mrs. Brown and I were introduced to women in education, which is a big deal because you often see very few women of color in the classroom. Growing up, I didn't have many Black teachers, so seeing other Black teachers and people in administration was a big deal. We were also able to fellowship with the mayor of Broadview, Mayor Thompson.
Thank you, Ms. Tanksley. Teaching out of our small school district here at Lindop, we were able to see Black excellence up close and personal. My personal experience, I've had Black teachers, African-American teachers. I haven't had the opportunity to see African-American women and men in power as far as in administration. So that was the next step for us to be able to see. During the gala, the guest speaker acknowledged each superintendent at, I think it was like 142 tables. And he stated, each name you hear has positively impacted schools at both the district and the statewide level. Ms. Tanksley and I were aware that Dr. Jackson was a part of this group, but we weren't aware to what extent. We now know, Some funding, student connections, and other academic extracurricular activities are encouraged by all school admin and personnel, but are truly driven and introduced by the superintendent. So to Dr. Jackson, thank you for the endless opportunities that you provide for students, staff, parents, and just everybody, women of color. To the Board of Education and to Dr. Jackson again, thank you for this opportunity, for allowing myself and Ms. Tanksley to really be able to see what we can become, more than just a teacher and administrator. It was insightful, and as a young Black woman, it was truly encouraging to see. We appreciate you all, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Brown and Ms. Tanksley. All right. Update on community property tax relief grant, Mr. Arndt.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board, community members and staff. As we talked about at the previous meeting, we had applied for the property tax relief grant, and there on the screen is the letter that we received from the Illinois State Board of Education that we received it once again. This is nothing new to the district. District did this a couple years ago and successfully received the grant, went through all the hoops and received the additional funding. I believe the district applied for it last year, but was not awarded it. And so we had the opportunity again this year. And of course, here we are, we have it. So that means that there's some steps for us to accomplish, which would start tonight. So before I get to that though, I'm gonna skip, can you go 2 ahead for me? So both of these slides say the same thing. You go 1 more ahead, Josh. Thank you. So essentially the way that the program works again is that in the first year, so in calendar year 2024, we have to abate $442,000 of taxes, $442,342 exactly. We have to abate those taxes with the county, which means they'll reduce whatever our actual levy is by that amount. The state will then award us a grant in the amount of $343,126. So that first bullet below the table explains that we will miss out on approximately $99,000 of funding in the first and actually in the second year. The math works out to the same number, but it works a little bit differently. So in the second year, we also have to abate the exact same amount, the $442,000. But that $343,000, instead of coming in through a grant, it will actually be added to our base funding through the evidence-based funding model that we're now supported by through the state. Then going forward in the third year, we won't be required to abate any additional taxes, and that state funding will be maintained at our base level. So in the long run, it'll work out very well for the district. In the short term, it will benefit the taxpayers. So it'll end up reducing what we're asking from our tax base. I'll pause there if you guys have any questions. And then in order to, like I said, proceed with this, we're asking the board tonight to adopt 2, they're seemingly identical resolutions. So you're gonna have 2 action items that read very close to one another. One will be an abatement for levy year 2023, which is collected during calendar year 24. And then one will be for levy year 24, which is collected in 25. I believe we can then immediately file both with the county and satisfy the requirement, and they will handle the abatements in order when they come, you know, one for this tax year and one for next tax year. That's all I had on the grant.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, so without further ado, any questions, board members? Nope. All right. I make the motion that the board approve the resolution for levy 2023 property tax relief grant as presented.
Cheryl Griffin, I second.
Roll call, please.
Board President Hannah.
Yay.
Board Member Buchanan. Board Member Dawson.
Yay.
Board Member Williams-Wolford.
Yay.
Board Secretary Griffin.
Yay.
Board Member Morris. Vice President Taylor, absent.
Motion carries. As we move along, I make the motion that the board approve the resolution levy 2024 property tax relief grant as presented.
Cheryl Griffin, I second.
Roll call, please.
Board Secretary Griffin.
Yay.
Board Member Buchanan.
Yay.
Board President Hannah.
Yay.
Board Member Dawson,
Yay.
Board Member Morris,
Yay.
Board Member Williams Wilford. Yay. Vice President Taylor absent.
Motion carries. Mr. Arndt, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
New business, presentation on FY 23 audit. Mr. Arndt.
Thank you again. I don't have any formal presentation on the audit. We're hoping to have Evans, Marshall, and Peace come out in March to make a small presentation to the board. But at the moment, we have, our audit has been completed by Evans, Marshall, and Peace. You all have received a copy, a hard copy in your packets this evening for your review. And also to note is that the audit has been posted to the EMA website, which satisfies the continuing disclosure requirement for the outstanding bond issues that we have. But that's all I had on the audit for this evening.
Thank you, sir. Next. I'll make the motion. I make the motion that the board approve the district donate, deposit, or sell the following kitchen equipment: double oven, holding cabinet, and refrigerator.
Cheryl Griffin, I second.
Mr. Arndt?
Yeah, we're simply just asking for the board's approval. One piece of equipment is not listed there because it was not operating any further. That has already been spoken for from a scrapper. So that's out of our possession, but we do have the remaining three pieces here. We're going to attempt to possibly sell it, if possible. And through Taher, our food service provider in the kitchen, they also have contacts with other area schools. So if there's opportunities to either sell or even just donate, we may do that. And then, very least, if we can't get rid of the equipment through the appropriate channels, just to have the approval to dispose of it properly.
Thank you, sir. Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Board Member Williams Wilford.
Yay.
Board Member Morris.
Yay.
Board Member Dawson,
Yay.
President Hannah.
Yay.
Board Member Buchanan,
Yay.
Secretary Griffin,
Yay.
Vice President Taylor absent.
Motion carries.
Okay. Cheryl Griffin, I make a motion that the board approve the purchase of wellness incentives, 33 gift cards at $25 each to be paid from the education fund. Can I get a second?
And a second. Mr. Arndt?
I believe the district has done this in the past as well. This is a program that we've used to incentivize, staff members to participate in the wellness screening that was held a couple of months ago at this point. The wellness screening and some other opportunities that will happen here, I think in the next couple months, are all efforts that if we achieve them, which the 33 people that participated helped us achieve our goal for this particular wellness program. Each one of these that we accomplish helps to reduce our insurance premium for all of our medical insurance because it's a self-funded plan. So any percentage or fraction of a percentage that we can save off of that premium is a good thing for the district. So this is a small way for us to reward the staff for participating and helping the district out.
Thank you. Madam Secretary?
Secretary Griffin,
Yay.
Board Member Williams Wilford. Yay. Board Member Buchanan. Board Member Morris. President Hannah.
Yay.
Board Member Dawson,
Yay.
Vice President Taylor absent.
Motion carries. Okay, recommend approval for the sixth grade Oregon, Illinois field trip, May 14th through the 15th, 2024. Dr. Robinson?
Cheryl Griffin, I second.
Hi, we are excited to offer our sixth grade students a trip offered through University of Northern Illinois University. We gave all of our middle school students an opportunity to participate in fundraising. For the sixth grade trip, the dates are May 14th. They spend the night and they return back on May 15th at 1:00 p.m. approximately. The cost per student is $81.25, and we're asking for the transportation costs to be paid.
Thank you. All right, now we'll make. Go ahead.
Okay, am I reading this correctly? Only 12 students are going on that trip?
So far, the date for the fundraising, not the fundraising, the date for the deposit to be paid for the sixth grade trip was just last week. So we're still trying to increase our number for the sixth grade trip.
And what's the total number of sixth graders?
Around about 40-ish. I'm not for certain. I don't want to give you an incorrect number, but we can find out that information.
I'm just wondering, what can we do to increase participation? Is it parents need more time to get their income tax back, or, like, what can we do as a school district to help and support them,
Yes, so in our seventh grade and eighth grade, the numbers are lower. Some of the things that we've been doing is calling in all our parents in middle school to find out any barriers that's stopping them from doing the trip. We've also been blasting on class dojos and the emails and phone calls about the trips. We also had parent meetings in which we had a Zoom meeting for all our middle school parents in order to discuss the trips. We've also given out surveys as also in terms of finding out what some of the barriers. Some of the data we got back was, some parents were uncomfortable with their children going overnight. We also have some parents, who did mention cost. And then we also had some parents that mentioned that their children just was not interested in the trip. So we've had a variety of different, things that were stopping the parents from participating in the trips. But for our sixth grade trip, we are still on board. Everything is okay in terms of the number. But I will admit that our seventh grade and eighth grade trips, the count is very low. So we will have more information about some things that we're trying to do in our next March meeting in order to still offer them a different scenario.
So there are 28 grade 6 students. There are 30 grade 7 students and 45 grade 8 students.
Does that satisfy your question, Ms. Woodard? Thank you.
Last question, did they vote on the trips, or how did you guys come to, which destination you were going to attend?
So the sixth grade trip is a trip that they take normally every year. The seventh grade trip is one that they also have done before in the past. And the eighth grade trip, the teachers did a survey of the students.
You know what, something else, they also have fundraising.
Yes. Fundraising, and also we had scholarship financial assistance. We asked that every parent, every family would apply for their financial aid assistance that's through the company World Strides.
And based on the number of family members, I think it's, if you have 2 people in your family, it's 80,000. 80,000 is the household income where you can receive 50% or higher if your household income is less than 80,000. So it's something that the parents can really, really partake in, but a lot of them are not, and we can't do it for them. So we can't call and apply for them, and it's over the phone. And in 1 week, you'll find out. So we're telling the parents it's over the phone. In 1 week, you'll find out. But a lot of them are very hesitant in terms of doing the scholarship. But the main thing, like Dr. Robertson said, is that the parents don't feel comfortable with their child going out overnight, especially after COVID. So that's a big thing. Because I was telling Dr. Jackson, even when she started here, we were going to DC. Even though it was before COVID, and we were going on the plane before we had a coach bus, then we started doing it by plane. But a lot of the parents now, they don't see the value in these learning excursions. These are things that you can never get from a book by participating in these learning excursions. So I don't know what else we could do apart from just calling them. And that's what we've been doing, calling them, let us know, are there any barriers? It's just like, he doesn't want to go or she doesn't want to go. But my mother didn't give me that choice. It's like, you need to go. This is something you can't learn from a book. So it's a different time right now.
We can't make them go, y'all. Can't make them go. There's nothing we can do about it. I'm sure you guys are doing everything you can to get these students to go, finding the financial avenue for parents to take, but you can't make these kids go. No matter what we say, no matter what we do, can't make them go. There's a different generation of kids now. Okay? All right, now I'll make the motion. Here we go. I make the motion that the board approve the sixth grade Oregon, Illinois field trip on May 14th through 15th, 2024 with board assistance, utilizing transportation funds in the amount of $975 in total for 12 students. Can I have a second, please?
Cheryl Griffin, I said.
Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Board Member Buchanan,
Yeah.
Board Member Morris,
Yeah.
Board Member Dawson,
Yeah.
Board Member Williams Wolford.
Yeah.
President Hannah,
Yay.
Secretary Griffin,
Yay.
Vice President Taylor, absent.
Motion carries. Okay, I make the motion that the board approve the seventh grade Springfield, Illinois and St. Louis, Missouri field trip on May 16th through the 17th, 2024, with board assistance utilizing transportation funds in the amount of $805.56 in total for 4 students. Can I have a second?
Cheryl Griffin, I second.
Dr. Robertson?
So for this trip as well, we have fundraising, opportunities for our teachers, our students and families. If they were to sell 2 cases, $56 per student will be taken off of their trip. There's also, as Ms. O mentioned earlier, we also offer financial assistance. The trip again is from May 16th through the 17th, and the cost per student was $509.
Thank you. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Board Member Williams Wolford,
Yay.
Vice President Taylor, absent. Board Member Morris.
Yay.
Board Member Dawson,
Yay.
President Hannah.
Yay.
Board Member Buchanan.
Yay.
Secretary Griffin,
Yay.
Motion carries. Okay, I make a motion that the board approve the 8th grade downtown Chicago, Illinois field trip on May 1st through the 2nd, 2024, with the board assistance utilizing transportation funds in the amount of $1,400 in total for 7 students. Have a second, please.
Cheryl Griffin, I second.
Dr. R.
All right, again, this trip also had opportunity for students to do some fundraising as well as, we encouraged everyone to do financial assistance. The total cost per student for this trip for Chicago downtown is $538 per student.
Any questions from any board members? There are none. Roll call, please.
Board Member Williams Wolford,
Yay.
Board Member Morris,
Yay.
Board Member Dawson,
Yay.
President Hannah.
Yay.
Secretary Griffin,
Yes.
Board Member Buchanan,
Yay.
Vice President Taylor, absent.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, moving along, discussion on attending the National Black Child Development Institute 53rd Annual Conference, Ms. Williams Woodford.
No, last year. Last year was the first year that most of the board attended it. And so it's coming up again, this year in October. And so, I think registration and, the hotel is available now. It's gonna be in Atlanta. And so, we were looking to see if the board wanted to, attend the conference again.
Thank you. Anything from any board members? That's North Carolina.
That was the one in North Carolina.
Our lines are clear. Roll call, please. Oh, I didn't make the motion, did I? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I make the motion that the board attend the National Black Child Development Institute NBCDI Conference, October 18th, 2024 through Sunday, October 20th, 2024 in Atlanta, Georgia for the 2024-2025 school year. Can I have a second, please?
Kenny
Brian
Williams
Dawson, I
Wolford,
second.
Dawson seconded. I made the motion. Can I have a roll call, please?
Secretary Griffin,
Yay.
Board Member Buchanan,
Yay.
President Hannah.
Yay.
Board Member Dawson,
Yay.
Board Member Morris,
Yay.
Vice President Taylor, absent. Board Member Williams Wolford.
Yay.
Motion carries. I make the motion that the board approves the Lindop 92 donation for Juneteenth celebration, June 14th, 15th, and 16th, in the amount of $10,000 to be paid from the educational fund as presented. Can I have a roll call? A second, please.
Board Member Williams Wolford, I second.
Thank you. Wolford seconded. Dr. Jackson.
Yes, and so we began the meetings with the Village of Broadview. Dr. Robertson is our spokesperson, so it seems like it's going to be even more exciting than it has been the last few years. Dr. Robertson will be able to present more information during the next board meeting. But this is our annual contribution that we have normally done as a sponsor for the event. Are there any questions?
No. Any questions, board members?
I believe that's gold level sponsorship.
Thank you. Dr. R, I see you on the agenda. I see Dr. Jackson on there, so don't think I looked over you, okay? I'm sorry. All right, roll call, please.
President Em,
Yeah,
Vice President Taylor, absent. Secretary Griffin,
Yay.
Board Member Buchanan,
Yay.
Board Member Dawson,
Yay.
Board Member Morris,
Yay.
Board Member Williams-Wilford.
Yeah.
motion carries. All right, board president report. I only have one thing, and that's if you guys can help me wish our board member, Miss Penny Williams-Wilford, a very happy birthday.
Thank you.
Come on, where?
Birthday.
All right.
I see the crystal raindrops fall, and the beauty of it all is when the sun comes shining through. To make those rainbows in my mind, when I think of you sometime, and I wanna spend some time with you. Just the two of us, we can make it if we try. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. Building castles in the sky. Just the two of us. You and I. Just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. Oh, it's just the two of us. Just the two of us. Yeah, just the two of us. Come on, get it together, baby. Just the two of us. Yeah, yeah, just the two of us.
All right. Superintendent's report, Dr. Jackson.
Yes, so thank you very much. Our opening, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. We have some exciting news, and so we have for our student achievement, Lazarick Williams, who's our 8th grade winner for our spelling bee. And then we had Mia, who was our 4th grade spelling bee winner. And she stood toe to toe to toe to toe with our 8th grade champion. Steve, student achievement, free mobile bookstore. This just happened last Friday. And the students were so excited about it. Each student was able to choose a free book to take off, as well as the staff members. And then it was open to the community later on that afternoon for purchase. But this is an African-American company. They go around and they make sure that students have books that they may not see otherwise, not here at Lindop though, because we have them, but some books that are available to them that may be different. That's what that is in our, than what is in our collection. So thank you all so much. That concludes my report.
All right. Moving right along, committee reports. Personnel Committee meeting, Mr. Hannah, Ms. Griffin. That was held on Friday, February 2nd, 2024 at 1:30 p.m.
Yes, basically, we can discuss that in closed session.
Sounds good. Finance Committee meeting, Ms. Griffin, Mr. Hannah, February 2nd, 2024 at 1:00 p.m. Ms. Griffin.
Okay, on that part of it, Dr. Jackson, is that something we can discuss now?
In closed session, yes.
Closed session, thank you.
Case Governing Board meeting, Mr. Dawson, Mr. Morris, Wednesday, January 17th, 2024 at 6 p.m.
No, not, that's the last one,
February 21st.
Yeah, so tomorrow is the next meeting and,
What about the
yeah,
17th?
but essentially, yeah. So, only report, we're still doing a lot of, staffing concerns as far as, looking forward to the new year. They're on board now with, Grand Canyon University, the way we are, growing your own. So that's the biggest news coming out of PACE.
Thank you, sir. Safety SEL Committee meeting, Mr. Morris, Mr. Buchanan, Thursday, February 15th, 2024 at 4 p.m. That next meeting date is to be determined. Anything from safety?
Yeah, we just had a couple of things. We was talking about the evacuation fire drill. We have two more of those left. Just different safety stuff, just looking at stuff that detect weapons and just talking about the new camera system and you know, Dr. Rose, you don't have nothing to, I mean, you want to say something, you can. Yeah, it was just a few things.
Cool. Thank you, sir. Policy Committee meeting, Mr. Dawson, Ms. Williams-Wilford. That next meeting date is Wednesday, March 6th, 2024 at 4:30. Mr. Dawson, Ms. Williams-Wilford.
We actually canceled the last one. We're gonna move forward with the next one.
Thank you, sir. Para CIA Committee meeting, Mr. Morris, Ms. Taylor. Okay, that is activated when needed. Technology Committee meeting, Ms. Taylor, Mr. Buchanan. That next meeting date is to be determined. Strategic Planning Committee meeting, all board members. That's activated when needed. Community Engagement Committee meeting, Ms. Griffin, Mr. Buchanan. That's activated when needed.
Actually, we do
Uh-oh.
have something for that.
Okay.
Mr. Buchanan, myself, and actually the board president attended the senior community breakfast, and that was on January 30th. And that was really a really good thing for us to be because I introduced myself to everyone there. And I was actually surprised at how many members remembered meeting me at a senior breakfast before, for which we were campaigning. And many of them conferred that they had actually voted for me and they were glad that I was there.
All right. And lastly, Negotiations Committee meeting, Ms. Griffin, Mr. Hannah. I have nothing that's activated when needed.
When needed.
All right. Any public comments? Madam Mayor?
Good evening, Board of Education, community. I am Mayor Thompson. And I do want to say a couple of things as it relates to the village. The village, we are working on our comprehensive plan. The comprehensive plan, I want everybody to be engaged. That includes the school district as well, because we're talking about transportation, how we look at the environmental impact of our community. So we want everybody to be engaged in the conversations to stay abreast of what's taking place. We are going to be asking that you all disseminate information to the families, although it may be redundant of some of the information that they receive. But we do want all hands on deck. The last time we had a comprehensive plan in the village of Broadview was in 2006, and it does not reflect the community that we live in today. So this is a 20-year plan. So we visualize in 20 years ahead. And so sitting here listening to the conversation as it relates to the updates on the blue ribbon status, I do want to say I commend Dr. Jackson and her leadership team for staying the course in the heart, because being in leadership and when you chartering new waters, such as blue ribbon status, that's hard work. So I just want to say congratulations to the team and listening to the consultant speak. Achieving blue ribbon status requires a combination of academic excellence. You all exhibit that with some of the updates from K through 5 and some of the updates on what was reported, student achievement, innovative practices, effective leadership, and a strong community engagement. That's when the parents come in and they participate. And I heard the number, was it 59% of parent participation? That's a pretty good number to work to move forward. So although it got hard at times, the parents stayed the course and stayed on task with the Board of Education and with Dr. Jackson. So that's commendable. I want to talk about intentional leadership because it's an approach that characterized by deliberate, purposeful action. And the leader that we have in this district, Dr. Jackson, she's intentional in decisions and behaviors that take place. And I hope the Board of Education recognize what you have in a leader that's moving this district to a blue ribbon status. That's very commendable. Her vision is clear. The goals are outlined. The strategic decision-making is a strong one. She's authentic with integrity. She leads this district with integrity. And I have multiple conversations, sometimes once a week or once a month, but she leads with integrity. Her heart is intact. She's connected to the people. She's connected to the board. She's connected to the community. This is the type of leadership we need in the village of Broadview, leading our district to be a high-performing district. So I'm excited about what I sat back and heard today. She's accountable and she holds her team responsible. And you can tell they got up here and they delivered a clear and concise message to the Board of Education and to the everything that has been taking place. Can I have at least 30 more seconds, maybe a minute? So in essence, intentional leadership involves purposeful direction, strategic decision-making, authenticity, empowerment, adaptability, and accountability. It emphasized the importance of being deliberate and proactive in leading oneself and others toward meaningful and impactful outcomes. We are seeing that with the scores from fall and winter that was exhibited tonight, so that's exciting. That's everybody, that's the teachers, that's your lunchroom staff, that's your custodians, that's your technology staff, that's the Board of Education being intentional with clear goals that's been delivered to the superintendent to execute the plan. So I commend you all for doing that, for executing the plan and holding everybody accountable. Now I'm gonna shift the conversation because I thought that was just so exciting to me of what's taking place in this district. I wish all school districts could say the same thing, but they cannot, especially when we're talking about the rebate for taxpayers. So where's that person? I want to say thank you because I'm a taxpayer 2 times. So anytime I can get some relief, I'm always excited about that. As we talk about Juneteenth, I do want to say thank the Board of Education for being committed to the financial component of executing this plan. This is our 4th year of celebrating on how we celebrate the African-American culture. Sometimes we get too caught up on the race issue and we don't execute a plan on what it means to celebrate culture. So this year we're gonna be celebrating the arts. That's the thing for Black History Month, the arts. So we're gonna be exhibiting and showcasing some of the talent that the kids are exhibiting at the Park District. They learning how to do videograph. So they learning how to video, so we're gonna be showcasing that. We're gonna be asking our local schools to participate in the art exhibit so they can exhibit their art that they're gonna be having and some of the community members of what that would look like. So we're gonna do that through our music, through arts, and through fine arts and all of the things that make Black Americans wholesome in the country that we live in today. So this is a cultural affair. We want to educate and inform on what Black history is and what Juneteenth means to us, because we are a culture. We're not just a race. So happy Black History Month. Keep doing what you're doing. You're doing an amazing job, and we can see the benefits. We want a highly educated community. We want kids that graduate from here to go on to high school, that may decide to go to college or go to the military or whatever, or become an entrepreneur, but we want to say that they got their foundation here at Lindop School. And so that's commendable, and I'm happy to serve at that level, which is a high level of excellence. So stay strong, Lindop. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
And I just have to say one more thing, because I just looked back and I saw her face. We could not have done this as a team without Mrs. Diane Schoenheider. Mrs. Schoenheider, will you please stand up? We could not have done this without our union being right beside us every step of the way during those tough conversations, but agreeing on what's going to be best for children. So thank you, Mrs. Schoenheider. My apologies.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, Dr. Jackson, Ms. Schoenheider, Lindop admin team. Ms. Williams-Wolford.
And as we celebrate Black History Month, I just came into this knowledge and I just wanted to share this with us. I didn't realize there's only 150 female African-American pilots in the USA. Only 150. And out of that 150, one of them graduated from Lindop. One of them graduated from Lindop, and she was our keynote speaker some years ago. That made me feel really proud when I came into that knowledge. I'm like, one of them graduated from here. And that made me start to think of maybe as a board, we should have like a wall of fame or something, because we got some great people that have graduated from here. And maybe we need to consider a space in our building as the Hall of Fame. So that's huge, so it's exciting.
Thank you for that.
Nia Wordlaw, American Airlines, first female pilot.
Lindop, Black History.
Right.
Anything else? All minds are clear. All lines are clear. I move that the board go into closed session under 5 ILCS 120-2 C148 9 and 10 to discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, or performance of specific employees of the public body, evidence of or testimony presented in open hearing or in closed hearing where specifically authorized by law, security procedures, school building safety and security, student discipline cases, and the placement of individual students in special educational programs and other matters regarding individual students at 6:54 PM. Can I have a second, please?
Cheryl Griffin, I second.
Board President Hannah.
Yay.
Vice President Taylor, absent Secretary Griffin.
Yay.
Board Member Buchanan.
Yay.
Board Member Dawson.
Yay.
Board Member Morris.
Yay.
Board Member Williams-Wolf.
Yay.
Motion carries. Thank you all for coming. You guys have a wonderful evening.
Text. Give him a computer, I'm gonna give it to Mr. Ellis Judah. Fix some stuff. I can't get on the internet anymore. When I come up to him and board book is not. It won't connect.